This person is so difficult to deal with. Now, have you ever said this to yourself when you're meeting people who are so different than you? And whatever that you communicate is not being captured by that other person. And the worst part is you have to deal with that person. That person could actually be your loved ones, be your team members, could even be your bosses as well.
So I think that personality tool, it works in a way where it gives us at least a direction on how to read people and how to deal with people with different personalities. So that's what I love using.
Have you ever met people who are very firm? People once they decided they do not want to change.
Earth prefers facts. So these are the people where when you actually talk to them, they don't like wishy-washy stuff and they love you to actually go straight to the point, tell them what do you actually want, what's the outcome for it, and also what's the objective.
So the moment when I step in, right, so these people are super analytical, they are taking notes, all really neat, and they will ask questions, and the way they ask questions has to be according to their step by step.
You know, air person are people where OCD tends to happen to people who have air element. Right? They cannot see that their place is like messy and things like that because everything needs to go according to steps. I have met people who have air element that is pretty high, whereby if you were to mess up their steps, right, their brain is completely jammed and they couldn't really know what to do next already.
Hi everyone, before we kick things off, just want to share with you that we are on a mission to reach out to more people so that they are able to turn their mess into message. And we can't do this without your help. So which is why, right, it will mean a lot to us if you can actually help us to like, subscribe, and even share this episode to people who can benefit from this. And this means a lot and it can help us to create more meaningful episodes like this. So thank you in advance, and I'll see you in the episode. This person is so difficult to deal with. Now, have you ever said this to yourself when you're meeting people who are so different than you? And whatever that you communicate is not being captured by that other person. And the worst part is you have to deal with that person. That person could actually be your loved ones, could actually be your team members, could even be your bosses as well. And as a result of that, you feel so stressful every time when you're in that conversations. Right? Now, if this is something that you're facing, then you're in the right place. So welcome to the Influence Show, where influence meets breakthrough. So my name is Wikit, and today with me, we also have our breakthrough coach, who is Shui, right?
Oh.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic, right? It's like why certain people we can deal very easily with, and why certain people just so different than us, and how do we actually navigate this? And how can we become a much better communicator so that we can actually get what we want, we can move the team, we can actually have a better relationship as well, right? So I'm just curious, like Shui, have you ever faced challenges where you have to deal with people who are difficult? I'll use the word difficult.
Yes, definitely. I think we all deal with people like that, like all the time, right? So we have people whereby they are very strict, everything needs to go according to SOP, but then there are some people, they don't follow the law. So I think that the world out there is actually filled with people with a lot of different personality, right? And because of that, sometimes this makes conversation extremely tough as well.
Yeah. I'm just curious, right? Normally, what type of traits or what kinds of actions or things that people say that you can't stand the most, that takes you off the most?
Well, I think for me is people who actually give like one word response. Right? Because these are the people that I don't know how to continue the conversation with them. I don't know how to gauge whether they're interested or not, right? And because of that, I find that these people are the hardest to deal with.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense, right? Well, for me, I think what actually trigger me the most is people who don't respect me, or people who tend to or judge or even makes me feel that they are the right one, or then I am the wrong one all the time. So that what actually ticks me off, right? So what about you, right? Maybe there are certain type of behaviors that doesn't match with you, or maybe some behaviors that you're okay with it, certain behaviors that you dislike about it. And in this session, this is actually what we're going to talk more about. Why does this happen, and what's the science behind it as well? So you see, right, why are people so different? Generally, like, it's because we are all having different personalities.
Yes.
Yeah. And around the world, actually, a lot of personality tools, profiling tools. That's what a lot of trainers, a lot of coaches they are using as well, right? So for Shui, right, what's something that you are actually leaning towards to, and do you think that is actually something effective for you?
So I think that personality tool, it works in a way where it gives us at least a direction on how to read people and how to deal with people with different personalities. So that's what I love using. And also, one of the things that I'm actually doing trainings about is this thing called Tetra Map. Right? So TetraMap is actually a very simple 4 personality tools that allows you to understand why people behave a certain way. Right? So that's why like when I apply TetraMap, and today you're going to learn more about it, so it helps me to understand people better and to understand more importantly like why we do what we do. Right, so TetraMap actually covers the element of nature, right? So there are a total of 4 different elements to it. So just like nature, there is earth, right? Represented by the mountain. There is air, there is water, and also there's fire as well, represented by the sun, right? So later we're going to talk more about that, but this is something that I've been using in my trainings to actually guide people on how to deal with difficult people.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that before we even go further, right, we talk about personality profiling, right? So one of the myths that I see a lot of participants say that is actually this: that I am actually so and so personality, that then I cannot change.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like that. That's why it is just me doing what I'm doing. So normally, what would you say to these people?
So for me, I feel that I think that the personality that we have inside us is a combination of all these different personalities. So that's why it's not that you don't have either one or another. You have everything. It just depends on how strong or how weak they are. So personality actually allows us to discover our strength, and it also allows us to know what is our weakness, and we work on our weakness. So how do I actually apply this? Is that I always tell people this, that being in certain personality or in certain element doesn't give you the permission to act that way. So you cannot say that, oh, because I am A, that's why I always act in an A manner. Because I'm B, I'm designed to act in B manner. So it doesn't allow you to say that, but it's about having flexibility to go to different places and to switch your approach when you meet with different people as well.
Yeah, and especially in today's world, it's all about how dynamic
Yes.
and how flexible you are.
Yep.
So it's not about you being personality A all the time. It's about how you can deal with each one better.
That's right.
Right? So with all this being said, right, let us actually go through some of these 4 elements of our Tetra Map. So in each of the element, right, we're going to learn about what is it all about, what are some of the behaviors, what are some of the strengths, what are some of the room of improvement as well, and most importantly, how do you deal with personality of this type so that you learn how to deal with the people around you as well.
Yes.
Okay? So let's start from Earth personality, right? The Earth element. Okay? So when we talk about Earth, right, what are some of the words that comes into your mind?
So Earth, they are pretty strong. They are also pretty steady and pretty direct as well. So just like mountains, okay, so Earth, they are very steady person.
Yeah, so it's like not moving.
Yes,
Yeah, so
correct.
basically it's like very firm.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever met people who are very firm in your workplace, right? People, once they decided, they do not want to change, right? Or they want A, they really want to push it through to make sure that they really want to get it. And what's most important thing is that they are very goal-oriented.
Yes.
They are very focused on whatever that they want to achieve as well, right? So yeah, just curious, right? When you're meeting with Earth people, some people actually label, wow, Earth people is very hard to deal with, you know, they are not moving, and it's very hard to convince them. And sometimes they will also say that, Earth people, because they are so goal-oriented, they forgot to take care of the person's feeling. They might say something that hurts the person's feeling as well.
Yep.
So how to deal with Earth personality?
I think to deal with them is to understand why they actually behave that way, right? Because you need to understand that people who are goal-oriented, and by the way, all leaders, right? If you can see all the authoritative leaders, they are pretty much Earth personality, right? Because they are very decisive and they are very goal-oriented as well. So one of the things I always remind myself is that for people who are Earth, what is their preference? So Earth prefers facts. So these are the people where when you actually talk to them, right, they don't like wishy-washy stuff, and they love you to actually go straight to the point, tell them what do you actually want, what's the outcome for it, and also what's the objective from it, right? So Earth prefers facts. And if you can actually back up what you want to achieve through the facts that you actually given, if everything makes sense, Earth people will actually say yes to you. Right? So that's why I think that when you actually meet with people who are Earth, you got to be direct with them, right? Don't beat around the bushes and straight to the point.
Yeah. So if you yourself, right, you are an Earth personality, right? So I think that That's great, right? Because you are very driven, very result oriented as well. So just one thing to take on as well, right? As a communicator, because as an earth personality, you might be very direct. You really hold no bar and really go all out. Sometimes it's important for you to take care of the other person's feeling as well, so that you're able to get the buy-in as well, rather than you pushing this through. Yeah, so I think that that's something that Earth can also be more flexible on as well.
Yeah,
right.
And I'd love to add on to what you said is that, so let's just say if you are dealing with an earth person, right? And if, and these are the type of person whereby when you enter into office, they don't greet you good morning. Straight away, they go into what they actually want. Here's a task for you. I need to complete it by when, right? And then for a lot of people, we might feel hurt, right? We might feel that, hey, why this person is always about work, and why is it that he's not respecting me? So one of the mindset that I need you guys to also have is that it's not that this person doesn't respect you. And in fact, this person actually respects you a lot. It's just the way on how they behave. They are very goal-oriented. And because of that, sometimes they might actually hurt some feelings as well.
Yeah. So I think that understanding this, right, it actually liberates you from having feeling that why this person disrespect me and all those things.
Right.
And you can actually be more logical when it comes to communication as well. Okay, so based on your experience, right, what normally triggers the earth people? What normally kills the connections for the earth people?
So I think that earth, because they are very goal-oriented, if you were to beat around the bushes and give long explanation about something without backing up with facts, so that is where they don't find you to be credible, and that's where they shut down. Right? And also, I think for earth people, one thing that you need to also be very careful is that they judge you based on the confidence that you portray, right? Because they are all about power. So if you actually be an earth person, and let's just say if you are not being confident, that's the first impression that you give towards the earth person, they will actually not respect you.
Right, because they are really confident, right? So they want to see the same in people that they deal with as well, to give them that confidence.
Yes.
Okay, so that's for the earth people. So maybe you can reflect about, hey, maybe the people around you who are very earthy, who are very dominant, maybe it's not their intentions to hurt you. Maybe it's not their intentions to not be more friendly with you. This is just how they are designed with. But if you know how to deal with these earth people, you can actually, earth personality can become a great asset to any team as well.
Yeah, because they are all about achievers, right? They're all about achieving their goals.
Yep, that's right. Okay, so now we have actually completed about earth. So the next element, it's about air, right? So you see, when I talk about the word air, right, what
Oxygen.
are some...
Oxygen.
Oxygen, right?
Yes.
Air, oxygen, everything is clear, transparent. So that's kind of a description for air, right? Okay, so like Shui, the air element, right? How are they like?
I think these are the people where we label them as computers or robots in the company, right?
Okay.
And why do we actually say that is because these are the people whereby they are very structured, they are very logical, they avoid emotions, right? They are all in their head thinking. So these are the people whereby, like, if you were to talk to them, everything needs to make sense and everything needs to be in detail, and they need to know everything before they actually make a decision. And how do you actually know if they are an air person? Is that you can tell that if this person may seem to be a very knowledgeable type of person, he asks you a lot of questions, everything is very detailed, logical, then this could be an air person.
Right. Yeah. So I think that I've actually done trainings like this to a room full of air people. These are like the financial analysts, the accountants. Wow. So the moment when I step in, right, so these people are super analytical. They are taking notes, right? And if you check out their notes, right, it's all really, really neat.
Yes.
Yeah. And they will ask questions, and the way they ask question has to be according to their step by step. If you jump the step, right, then they tend to, it frustrates them.
Yep.
Can you go back to the previous slide?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And they need to take pictures of every single slide that you
Yes. Yeah. So I think that they are very detailed, very, very logical as well. So meaning that when you actually talk to air people, you need to be very detailed. Step 1, step 2, step 3. When you present to them, the same thing as well. Very structured and very compliant, right? Because at the back of their mind, there's actually certain structure that they have. Throughout when I'm teaching all these tetra maps, right? When I met people, the air people, they always tell me this, right? What they hate the most is people giving them urgent tasks. Because, right, everything for them, you need to pre-plan.
Yes.
I already have my plan. Now you want to disrupt my plan. Of course, I'm going to get mad at you. So please wait for another 5 more working days before I come back to you. Yeah, so this is actually these are some of the characteristics as well. Okay, so maybe Shui, you can actually share with us a little bit, right? How do we deal better with an air people?
Yeah, so I think air prefers logic a lot, right? So especially when you're talking to air people, they will actually be thinking behind their head, like whatever you're trying to say, does it make sense or not? Right? And they will actually know that whether you know your stuff or whether you don't know your stuff, and they can actually tell, right? Because they are very logical. And if, let's just say, whatever you said is not logical at all, you did not do your research, they can actually tell, and that's where they actually switch off. Right? So I think that when you're speaking to people who are having air element, you got to be able to go into the details, make sure that everything makes sense, and then only you present it to them. And by the way, these are the people that is usually the hardest to convince among all the other 4 different elements that we're going to talk about later on as well.
Yeah, so if let's say your boss, you have a very air boss, right?
Yes.
Yeah, then it's all about justifying the return of investment, how much resources am I going to spend? So they will go down to every single details.
Yeah, and we do have students like that as well in IBM, whereby like the moment they ask me questions, like, hey Shuya, what are you going to teach on the first half of the morning, right? What exactly activity are you going to do, right? And how many people will be there for the training session, right? And what are you going to do on day 2, right? So they will ask details like that, and that is actually a clue that, hey, this person contains air element.
Very good. Right, so which is why, right, when you're talking with air personality, one more thing to take on is that really do your research.
Hey guys, just a moment. So if you have enjoyed our video so far and you have learned something from the video, you know that we are actually on a mission to inspire more lives and to spread our message to even more people out there. And we can't do this without your help. So we would really appreciate it if you haven't subscribed to our video yet or to our channel. So please click on the subscribe button below and to turn on your notification bell as well, so that every time we post a video, you will get the first-hand update to it. And we would really, really appreciate it. So with that being said, thank you in advance, and back to the video.
Yeah, and how air element is a bit different from earth, right? Just now you also mentioned earth also likes facts.
Yes.
But how earth like facts and how air like facts is very different. So you see, right, air, they will go through the research and all the details, all the graphs and all these things, right? But earth, they just want to know the inside.
Yes.
They want to know like, okay, so how does it relate to the decision that I'm going to make? Because they just want to know and to make the decisions. So if let's say if you present to an air boss, yes, you need to tell them that how did you come up with this conclusion. But when you are talking with an earth boss, right, it's not so much about I did this, right? You tell them about the result, tell them the insight, then they can actually make their own decision. They're not really interested on, I actually did how many studies, let me show you the studies. No, don't do that as well. Right? So what triggers an air element people?
Especially people don't follow the rules or the law. That's
Okay.
what triggers air person, right? Because air person are people where like OCD tends to happen to people who have air element, right? They cannot see that their place is like messy and things like that, because everything needs to go according to steps, right? And I have met people who have air element that is pretty high, whereby if you were to mess up their steps, right, their brain is completely jammed and they couldn't really know what to do next already.
You have to follow really exactly. And one of the traits is that air elements, right? Normally they might when they're digesting something, they might actually look a bit sad, look a bit like not much facial expression.
Yes.
It's not that they are mad at you, it's that they are computing whatever that you are sharing. They're always analyzing things, before they give you an answer.
Yeah, so that's why one of the ways to tell whether you have element of air or not is you can actually notice the energy of them, right? But people who are air, their energy tends to be a bit low, and they tend to speak a little bit monotonous as well, right? Especially, for example, like engineers, architect, the way they speak is actually very flat. And some of the doctors, very analytical, just like this. Their voice, you can actually tell whether they are an air person.
Yeah, because of the professionality needs as well. So that actually serves them. So this might be actually carried out through their interactions as well. Okay, so that's for the air element. Okay, so let's go to the third element, which is the water, right? Now, when I talk about water, what comes into your mind? Water.
Calm,
Peaceful.
Peaceful.
Peaceful. Nice. Zen.
Flexible.
Right? Flexible, right? So, water element, right? So share with us more. Like, how are they like the water element?
I think water are people who values relationship a lot, and these are the people where they are very empathetic and they focus a lot on emotion. They are very feeler, right, kind of person, right? They can feel things very well, and because of that, I think these are the people where we call it the glue of the company, because they are the people that brings everyone together, and they are the people whereby they remembers everyone's birthday, they remembers all the details, and they make sure that you feel that you are being cared for. So these are the element of like people who have water elements inside.
Yeah. So they are more, I would say, relationship oriented,
Yes.
people oriented. Yeah. So how do you spot them, right? So normally, something that you can actually see, right, is that they tend to be a very good listener.
Yeah.
So let's say if you have issues, talk to a water people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you talk to an earth people, the earth people will ask you that, what do you want?
Yes.
Okay, so you talk to the air people, water people, they will actually listen out to you. And you realize that, right, normally water personality, right, if a water personality becomes a leader, how they lead in a conversation in a meeting is that they will ask for opinion. What do you guys think about it? Can we all vote? Are you guys okay with
It's
it?
all about voting.
Yeah. You look a bit confused. Are you okay with it or not? Right. So it's very much about feeling. Yeah. So they will also sometimes they might not share out their real concern as well because they're worried to offend you. So they will find a way to share it in a very nice manner. Yeah, even though they disagree with it.
Yeah, so I think that water, because of that, right? So they are afraid of offending people. So that's why when things happen to them, right, they tend to actually bottle them up, right? And then to a point where, sometimes water can also be tsunami. Right? The moment they pour it out is where they really feel overwhelmed already. So that's one of the characteristics of water as well. Right? And for me, I realized that for water, because their strength is actually like taking care of people, caring for emotions as well, when it comes to making decisions, sometimes they could be a little bit hesitant, because they need to take everyone's thought into consideration. And that's why sometimes when it comes to decision making, you can see that people who becomes a bit hesitant, so they have certain elements of water inside them as well.
Yeah. So knowing that, right, when you are communicating with water, you need to take note of this as well. So when you convince them, you actually assure them that everybody's okay with this. It's not going to hurt anyone. Everybody is good to go. So these are the things that they want to hear in order to proceed. They don't want to harm anyone. Right. So how do you communicate with water?
Right. So I think that you need to take care of their feeling first before you eventually ask them to do something. And this is very different from Earth. If you were to talk to an Earth person, right, straight away you go to the Earth person, hey, I need to get this done by 5 p.m. I need you to do this right now. So that is how you communicate to an Earth, right? But if you talk to people who have water element, hey, morning, like how's your day? Have you had your coffee already? Right?
Yes.
Oh, by the way, I bought this breakfast for you. You can actually have it.
Okay.
Okay, then only you get him to do something. Right? So water enjoys small talk first, and they feel that if they are being cared for, then whatever favor you ask from them, they are more likely to actually say yes. So that's one of the tips to make them feel good first before asking them for a favor.
Yeah, care for them first,
Yeah.
then only you cook for the task.
Yeah.
So this one is especially for Earth. So this is something unnatural for you. But you to move them, this is actually what you can actually refer as well.
Yeah, and by the way, like you got to also be genuine to it, right? Because if you do it for the sake of doing it, water, they are very good feeler. They can actually feel that as well. Yeah.
Okay, good. So what kills the connections with water?
I think what turns water down is sometimes when you're being too transactional. Meaning to say that like everything is about money, business without actually caring for that person, right? That's where it actually turns waters down, right? And sometimes like being extremely blunt with water could also turn them down as well, right? Because water is the kind of people where you got to actually take care of their feelings. They got to feel that you really care for them first before they are willing to put their heart into you. So water needs a little bit time to actually build up that trust with them.
That's nice. Okay, so that's for the water element, right? Now, let's go to the fourth one, which is the fire element. Wow. So when we talk about fire, what's the thing that you can relate to?
Bright, aggressive.
Bright and also aggressive, okay? So now, share with us, right? How does a fire personality, fire element look like?
Right. So I think fire is being known as a rule breaker, right? So these are the people where they don't like playing according to the rules. They like taking risks, right? And you can see that these are the people whereby they are very enthusiastic, they are very spontaneous as well. So they live their life based on fun, based on excitement, based on positive energy. And you can tell like very easily when you are being with a fire person, their energy is always high. They are always positive and they are always optimistic and they have a lot of different ideas. Yeah, so that's how you tell if person's fire element is pretty high.
Yeah. So fire element is really creative, you know.
Yeah.
So if let's say if you have a fire element team members inside the team, right? So during brainstorming session, right, this is like an asset, right? You have a lot of ideas. What if we do this? What if we do that? Right? And the whole meeting will become very fun because they like fun. They're very enthusiastic.
And these are the people that they love telling jokes as well. They're super fun.
Yeah, we all have friends who are like that, right? Yeah. So with these people, then you know, the energy of the room is being livened up as well. They are speaking very fast as well, and also they are very easily distracted as well. So you see, at one point you're talking about this topic, and then suddenly they would jump to another topic, and then they would jump it back to the other topic as well, because their mind is always running as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So and you can actually see that in a meeting room, the one that actually try to bring everybody up, makes everybody laugh. That's actually chances are it's actually the fire personality.
Yes.
Right. So you see, what's the best way for you to deal with the fire personality?
Not to be boring. Because fire, they love fun, right? So one of the ways to deal with fire, and if you're not fire, it could be very draining for you, right? But one of the ways is to actually match after that energy. So if fire is being really positive with you, you got to match that energy to be positive, right? So imagine that if fire comes to you, hi, good morning, and if your reaction is that, hi, good morning, it straight away turns fire off, right? So you got to be able to match their energy, right? And especially like when I deal with people who are fire, especially in presentation, you will notice that these are the people, they cannot sit down for very long. You can see that they start feeling very agitated, they are moving around, playing with their pen, they are very restless. So one of the things to engage fire, right, is to actually use stories, use humor, use activities to engage them, to make sure that they are actually doing something. Right? And also I think fire, okay, they are actually attention seekers. They love attention a lot. Right? So if you can recognize and praise them for the things that they have done, they feel super good and they would do even more for you.
Yeah. So I think that when you are presenting to fire as well, one of the feedback that I got, right, don't put so much words and graph onto your fires. Those are the words for air.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So for fire, right, you need to insert some pictures.
Yes.
Yeah. So that they can, at one glance, that they can feel it. They feel it's simple. Because the moment when they feel it's too hard, right, then that's when they will turn off. Same goes to when you're giving instructions to fire people as well. When you're telling some things, right?
Yep.
If you are making it so complicated, right, they were like, hey, I think cannot lah, too complicated.
Or probably they will just shut down.
They just shut down. They say, okay. Then they don't do it, right? Now, so what kills the connections for fire people?
I think it's about being flat, being monotone, right? Or you are overly serious. That's actually kills fire, right? And also sometimes if you were to drown them with too many details, so that's where they will actually turn off as well. So I think that when you deal with a fire people, it's all about being fun around them and making things interesting for them. Yeah, because their attention span is pretty short.
Right. Now we actually heard about the 4 different tetra maps, right? So of course it's time for you to guess what is our tetra maps then. Right. So based on what you heard about at the starting, we actually mentioned, right, what triggers us the most, right? Have a guess. What type of personality that you think we are? Okay. Guess. Okay. Let's review the answer. So what's your tetra map, Shui?
Okay, so why not? Because in Tetra Map, one of the things that we look at is actually your top 2 strengths and your top 2 weakness, right? So let's review our top 2. Okay, my top is actually Earth. All right, so Earth used to be my top because I am a very goal-driven person, right? And I'm a high achiever as well. And the second one that I have is actually Fire. Right, I'm all about new ideas, possibilities, and also creating excitement, energy in my training as well. So yeah, so these are my top 2.
Okay, so my top 2 is actually, first one is actually water.
Can totally tell.
Right? Water. Then the second one is fire. Yeah, so that's how I'm actually trying to take care of people, know how are they feeling and all these
Nice,
things. Yeah.
right.
So that's how both of us, we are quite different in a sense, right? So that's how I think in a team, right?
Yeah.
You need to have a balance of a different personality.
Definitely.
Yeah. Imagine if both of us are fire, we are always going for the next shiny things, right? Then no one actually takes care of the back end. Or both of us are earth.
Yeah.
Then we're always fighting. Both of us are water. We are like a support group. If both of us are air, we keep on analyze until we paralyze.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that the key here is to know your personality,
Yeah.
what's natural for you, and at the same time to also learn about other people's personality and see how you can actually manage them better.
Yes, I
Be
totally
dynamic and be
agree
flexible.
with that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, like for you, right? Like based on these four different elements, which one do you think is the hardest to deal with or the hardest to convince, and which one do you think is like the easiest for you to convince?
Okay. I feel the easiest for me to convince, right, is the water and the fire people like me, right? Why? Because the water people, as long as you connect with them, which I'm very good at doing that, connect with them and also to hear them out
Yep.
and to really empathize with them, right? Then chances are it's very easy for you to get them to listen to you.
Yes.
For fire is to paint pictures about the future, about the possibilities. That's easy. So what is harder for me is the earth and also the what do you call
Air.
it? The air. Yeah, because going into details is something that I don't really enjoy.
Yep.
Yeah, but due to work need, I will have to become that as well. How about you?
Yeah, so I think I can share my experience from sales, right? I think that the hardest audience that I have to sell to or convince is people who have hair element inside.
Okay.
Right? Because these are the people whereby they will ask a lot of different questions, and all these questions are super detailed to a point where sometimes you couldn't even answer them. Right? Yeah, and I think air is the type of personality whereby you cannot push them to make a decision. Right? Because if you push them to make a decision on the spot, they turn off and then later on they will not come back to you. Right? So when air said that I need to think about it, usually they really need to think about it. They need to do their research. They will compare everything, and if everything makes sense, they will actually come back to you. So that is for air. But also one thing that I realized, right, even though air is actually the toughest to deal with, if you can buy in their trust, right, air is one of the most loyal customer that you would ever get. Right, because once they do their research, if they go with you, they will go with you for a very long time, right? So that's why I think that air, okay, is one of the toughest to deal with. The easiest to deal with is like what you said, water and also fire, right? And fire are the types of people whereby you got to get them excited and you got to collect money or to close them on the spot. Okay, because by the end they walk out of the door, if you don't do anything, they got distracted by other things and they go to other causes. Right? So that's for fire, right? I think earth could be also a little bit intimidating to deal with because these are the people where they don't speak a lot, right? They have that very high energy aura, right? They're very serious kind of look.
Tell me, why should I get
Yes, right?
work together with you? Yeah.
Correct. But then when you deal with earth, right, if you could show them the ROI, if you could show them what's the end result of it, then that's how you can actually engage them. Right? They are very direct. If they know they want it, they will actually invest.
And they move quite fast as well.
And they move quite fast. They make that decision quite fast as well. Yeah. So I think that this is how I actually deal with it, right? And in fact, there are different language that you may want to consider using where you actually pitch to different personality.
Wow, share with us.
All right. So let's just say if I were to sell our IBM Influence Breakthrough class to people who are Earth, then I would probably say something like this, right? You see, in this 3 days class, you're going to discover how to become a better leader so that you can lead your team better and you achieve all your KPIs. Very result oriented. All right. But then if you were to deal with air element, right, they are all about structures, right? And in these 3 days, on day one, we're going to learn about mindset, right? We're going to talk about the 4 different mindset blocks that people have that stops them. Day 2, we're going to talk about influence, and you're going to learn the exact 5-step framework on how to get people to say yes. And day 3, you're going to learn how to present yourself by learning this formula called the 4P. So you can see that everything is very structured. Air, they can actually follow after it. Water is where you focus a lot on relationship, right? So in this class, okay, it's all about having a community that serves you. We have very nice coaches that will actually take care for you. And if you have anything that you don't understand, the coaches will also be there to support you as well. It's like a family when you join our class.
Oh, I'm sold already.
Right? And last but not least, fire. It's all about creativity and fun, right? So this will be not your normal training because when you come in, you're gonna have a lot of fun. You're gonna challenge yourself, Fire Love Challenge, right? And you're gonna have the best experience of your entire life. Yeah, so that's how you deal with different personalities when you actually speak to them.
That's good. Yeah. How about, right, let's say one-to-one, we can actually tailor our conversation to such style, right? How about if you have to deliver presentations to a group of people where you have all these 4 elements in the room?
So that's why I think it's very important for us to utilize all 4 languages in a room, right? In a group setting, because you never know who are you dealing more with, right? But then if you were to use 4 different languages to actually communicate with them, right? So it will be much safer that way.
Okay, good. So we have actually come to an end to our podcast of today. So I think that I hope that you have actually learned something from this episode, which is actually the 4 tetramaps element, which is the first one, the earth, the air, water, and even fire, right? So which is why, right, learning all these things is not for you to judge other people. It's not for you to judge yourself as well. It's for you to have this tool in your arsenal where you know how to deal with people of different kind. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, right, the best influencer, the best speaker, the best leader are the one who is able to deal with different type of people and to achieve the common goal together. Right? So with all this being said, I hope that you actually learned something from today's sessions. I hope that you'll be able to apply this. Now, if you actually gain value from this episode of the podcast, right, so it will really mean a world to us if you can actually click the subscribe button and even share this out to people who want to improve their influencing skills, to want to grow themselves as a person, and help us in these missions to actually empower the world one person at a time. So with all this being said, thank you so much for joining in today's sessions, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye-bye.